Hello and welcome to day 5 of the medieval helmet build. More brass work. Carrying on from yesterday, marking out the vertical brass strip, tin snips or grinder. The tin snips managed to cut through okay today, except for the last bit of each cut. Strange that. I can live with that. So the plan was to cut as close to the drawn shape and then do the touching up on the grinder. When I come to use the grinder, a little tip for you: always rotate the stone by hand first. You'll see me just place a thumb on the stone and just rotate the stone. It's force of habit. It allows me to see that the stones are going to rotate freely when I press the power switch. The last thing you want is for any guard or any misalignment to cause the stones to explode while trying to rotate. So there's the rough shape. Here we go for testing the stone. There, see that little rotation puts my mind at rest that when I power on, the stones are going to be rotating okay. Notice how I press down against the guard, the horizontal guard, or the name escapes me at the moment. Tool rest. So that's the shape roughed out. Time to get the tin snips out again after a much needed drink of cuppa. Notice how cold it is. You see steam from my breath, condensation. It's quite cold in the garage this morning. So tin snips to give me a way of separating each of the areas I'm going to be folding. I fold them to create not quite a rolled edge, but a folded edge. This eye opening is going to be quite tempting for people to run the finger along when they're looking at the helmet in future. So I don't want any razor sharp models on display. A folded edge will be a lot safer for everybody. Deburring holes and filing edges. It's a mundane part, but it's essential if you may have children looking at any project display, or even inquisitive adults. So that's the thinking behind it. Careful cutting. Notice how one finger is between the arms of the snips. That allows me to open it under control. Don't want to be cutting too far at this point. I could make another one, I suppose, but I don't like repeating any processes if I can help it. These trusty snips have been with me since the 60s, so certainly something that's worth investing in. That's a quick look at the cuts. It'll all make sense in a couple of minutes when I put the brass in the vise and fold it to 90 degrees. Why am I wearing one glove? Well, I was thinking of using a junior hacksaw to cut it, and being close to my fingers, I would always wear a glove. So again, you see the one finger between the snip handles just allows you to operate it. I haven't cut deep down into each cut. I favour cutting 95% of the way there and then breaking the piece off. When you're working with this type of thin material, it's easy to fracture it by using reversals, and that's it. Reverse, backwards and forwards, off it comes. I have smaller snips, but these still serve me well. And we must be getting close now. That's the glove off. Examining the work. Right. Okay, we've seen that. Crack on bending it. Demonstrating that the tabs are going to be bent along the witness marks. Trying to protect the brass as much as I can using one aluminium vice jaw. I'm not happy really with the jaw. Get rid of that. I'm trying to get a decent, accurate alignment for this bend. Notice the condensation as I breathe out. Must be puffing a bit. So it's a simple case of pushing over. I would like a nice crisp bend, so I'm watching all the way while I do it. Now I can only bend to 90 degrees at this point, so I will give it a bit more of a bend with the eagle beak pliers later on. Once I've done one, the confidence to do the next is, well, it's obviously greatly increased the confidence. And once you're committed to a process, just carry on and do it. Alignment is everything. You don't want to be putting right any mistakes if you can avoid it. And here we go. Second bend. There's a witness mark. Steady pressure. It's a lovely vise, this 6-inch. The jaws are nice and long and straight and flat. A reward for a job well done, a cup of tea. Back to it now. Out come the eagle beaks, my favourite pliers. Again, they stood with me through the test of time. Very versatile. So I'm bending it past 90 now, so that when I do the panel beating and tap it down with my toffee hammer, it's already started. That was a photo, I think. Stop to take a photo. So, taking a bit of care to get the bend equal along its length. Now, I am going to capitalise on the fact that it's a tight bend. All I want to do is create a fold. I don't want to change any of the dimensions. So that's the starting point. A little toffee hammer at the top of the vise, and off we go. Tapping along the length, not just one area. We don't want any curves. A temptation for sheet metal is to bend upwards. So I hammer down a tight joint, and that should protect any fingers that are exploring the eye holes when people are looking at the model helmet. I wonder if the original artisans did this sort of work. I suppose we'll have to visit a museum at some point and have a look. Bit of repetition. Again, the confidence of the first tapping and bending, the confidence is built to a point where I can just go for it. As long as I take care to keep the line straight and tap it down, then I should achieve my objective of a tight finished bend. Looking good. I decide to approach the centre part. Notice the finger between the arms of the eagle beaks. It's just a natural thing, working with hand tools so many years. You just adopt methods for using tools to make them more efficient. Getting there now, nearly finished. Now this particular brass piece will have a bend in it that mimics the forehead slant on the helmet. So the centre part, where the V's are, is an area I have to consider all the time. I don't want any weakness, but I am going to have to bend it at some point because I want this brass piece vertical. I want it to follow the lines of the helmet. I do wonder about the reason for this V slot at the centre. I'd like to think it was just decorative, but there may well be other reasons for it. Somebody expert on medieval armour might correct me or inform me. So there's our shape. It's now going to be bent along the full length centre line. This bend, it's quite a shallow V. It is visible on the replica helmets and on the real helmets, so I am following that principle of having that shape. I guess it had a reason, possibly to deflect any blows to the helmet or any arrows. Let's settle on that one. It's an arrowhead deflector. Yes, we'll have that. I reckon if you talk with enough authority, people believe you. So from now on, that's how I'll describe this piece of metalwork. And now the moment of truth. It's going to have that forehead inclination. How much? Well, we need the helmet to establish exactly how much, but that'll do for a start. Looking good. And with the magic of cinema, we have the helmet. Gaffer taped in place, the brass piece. Again, for me to visualize, to see what's what. Slight adjustment. The slot has to match the eye slot in the alloy helmet. In this case, it just means moving down ever so slightly. Realign the gaffer tape, which is one advantage we've got in this 21st century as opposed to craftsmen of the 12th century. If I ever get my time machine finished, I'll have to take them some, and they'll love it. A bit of light on it just to add some drama, just to see what effects we can get. And one of my sons suggested I try a light inside it, emulate an Iron Man helmet. So this is for you, Michael, this next bit. There we go. Twelfth century version. My Knights Templar helmet. Replica of a 12th century helmet, knight's helmet. Lots of work to do. Thanks for joining me. Join me again soon for more build. Thanks for watching.